Drivers, welcome to Area 51 Racing League, brought to you by Green White Checker TV and our promotional producer, Roy Wilkes. We are a serious racing league with races brought to you 4 nights a week. Tuesday nights we feature the high-speed Indy cars on multiple tracks and a couple road courses thrown in. Wednesday nights we race the NASCAR 1987 Cup cars on multiple tracks and a couple Superspeedways thrown in. Thursday night is our premier series. We race the NASCAR Cup cars following the NASCAR schedule. Sunday nights we race the NASCAR Cup cars on Superspeedways, alternating between Talladega and Daytona. The Superspeedway series will be a paid series. It's $25 per person. Weekly payouts will be $15, $10, and $5. Also, the season champion will receive $150. These numbers are contingent on the number of registered drivers and are subject to change. Drivers who don't want to pay the entry fee can still race but will not share the winnings. All race seasons start at 6 p.m. Central Time with 1 hour practice followed by 5-minute qualifying, and then a green flag drops at 7:05. All races will be broadcasted by our partner Green White Checker TV. Area 51 League is a serious racing league who believes every driver should go into every race with his or her top priority being not to wreck their fellow competitors. Failure to abide by the Area 51 vision will result in removal from the league. League entry requirements are Class C 3.0 or higher and an I rating of 900 or higher. To join, visit our racing and look for Area 51 Racing League. We look forward to racing with each and every one of you and making some good friends along the way. See you in Season 5. Thanks.
Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have the second to last race in the Area 51 Superspeedway Cup Series. Tonight we're at Talladega. I say, unfortunately, I know the Cup race was rained out. However, say if you want to get some Talladega action in, this is definitely a good place to do it. So say right now drivers are putting down their qualifying laps. So while they're doing that, we'll go ahead and go over our point standings. Again, entering this penultimate race. Right now, leading the way is that number 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. He's got a 17-point lead over second place Gabe Butler. I was saying it's going to be pretty much at this point, I believe, a two-horse race. So you can see the two of them have got a substantial lead here over the remainder of the field. In third is Kevin Hash. You can see he's 95 out of the lead. So I think at this point, pretty much mathematically, it's going to be between those two. However, in fourth is Erik Laurie, and rounding out the top five is Jack Walls. Then 6th through 10th is Matt Quick, Bud Steele, Dwight Plush, Michael Spell, and Chad Wilks. I'm saying again, remember, we've got just this race and then the next one, and we got a couple weeks off, I believe, say with the 4th of July coming up and everything. So if you're interested in doing this one, I say, and also remember this Super Speedway series in season 5 will actually be an option of being a paid series if you want to do a $25 entry fee. There are going to be prizes for winners of each race, and then a overall prize for the series champion as well. However, if you just want to race and you don't want to be a part of the prize money section of it, just sign up and race and have fun. I'll say, so they have both options for you, so that's a really cool thing that they're putting on here. So again, you can definitely check them out at Area 51 Racing League. You can find them on Facebook and on the iRacing members page. And they also do have a website, which is, I believe, area51iracing.com. So definitely check out that website as well. I say they've just been starting up on it. So say there's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of changes being made as the site progresses. So yeah, definitely feel free to check them out. Say it's a lot of fun. Say this league has, remember, they have 3 green-white checker finishes should they be needed, and then also 2 fast repairs. That way, if something happens to you, you get caught in someone else's wreck or something like that, you still got another chance to make a crack at it, try to get a win there. So yeah, so say we'll let these drivers finish up their qualifying laps here, and then we'll get going once they start gridding up. And actually, yeah, thank you, Jimmy, for bringing that one up. Yeah, and definitely happy Father's Day to everyone. So I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day today. And I say, of course, slightly biased happy Father's Day to my dad, Jim Brooks. I'll say he's going to be doing admin duties this evening, so he won't be racing, but he'll be kind of behind the scenes and trying to keep everybody in check, make sure everybody's minding their P's and Q's. So yeah, definitely happy Father's Day from myself, and I say I hope you all are having a good time, and say hope you guys enjoy the race, and say those that are racing, hope you guys have a great time in the race as well. Alright, qualifying has just completed. And so it looks like we'll have a little bit of, not much of a change, but a little bit of change. Let's say, still got Raymond Rittenauer here, is going to be starting on the pole position. So we'll jump over, take a look at our starting grid here tonight. So on pole position is Raymond Rittenauer. 200th of a second behind him is that 89 of Matt Quick. In the third position, you have Kevin Hash in the 03. In fourth, you have Jack Walls in the 83 car. In the fifth position, you have Bud Steele. In sixth, you have Chad Wilks. And then in the seventh position, you have Maxwell Caldwell. Eighth is Erik Laurie in that 071 car. And then rounding out the top 10, you have John Mullins in the 64 and Charles Johnson in the 28. So I'll go over the rest of the grid here. So it looks like right now we have about 22, 23 cars. Say 16 took a qualifying lap. And I said we're going to get rolling here in just a moment. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, our points leader here, Raymond Rittenauer, takes the points leader Raymond Rittenauer takes the pole position here for this penultimate race at Talladega. I'll say his competitor though, Gabe Butler, will be starting in the 16th position in that one car, so he's gonna have to work his way towards the front. So usually he's been one of those ones to qualify up front and kind of just control the race as well with that 87 car. So we'll have to see if he's going to have a little bit of different strategy in this one or not. But we'll have to wait and see. So we got 75 laps scheduled here at Talladega. Again, have the opportunity for up to 3 green-white checkered finishes. Obviously, drivers definitely not going to want to use them if they can avoid it at all. And then fuel window is right in that like lower to mid 20 lap range. So say if they can stretch it to that 25, 26 lap number, that's going to be the magic number to make it on 2 stops. So if you're leading the draft, that's going to definitely be a challenge for those. But yeah, so we'll see. I have a feeling you're going to see some guys kind of just try to cruise a little bit in the back, try to save some fuel. And yeah, we'll have to kind of see how everything all shakes out here. So again, thank you all for joining us here on Green White Checker TV. I'm looking forward to this the Superspeedway Cup Series race at Talladega with Area 51 Racing League. Again, you can find them on Facebook or on the iRacing site, and of course on their new website they've been working on, which is area51iracing.com. Alright, pace cars are going to come in this time, so you're going to see them go around through the tri-oval, take the green as they get out of that tri-oval. So I think we definitely have some teammates up here together in that front 4. So you'll see them work together really well. I have a feeling, again, here at Talladega as well, with it being a wider track, you can definitely do 3-wide a little easier than you can at Daytona. So we'll see what these guys are able to do here. Green flag is in the air. And saying right now you can see a really even start between the top 2, and saying it looks like the drafting help as well. Pretty square between them, although it looks like that 83 of Jack Walls already has a pretty good push as things get up to speed on Matt Quick there in that 89 car. Right on board here with that 83 of Jack Walls. You can see, so you can't probably see it because he's too close, but say he's got a grill full of Grumpy Cat right now, just pushing that cart on the top side here, trying to see if he can maybe get him around the top here to take the lead, but you can see that bottom starting to form there. Raymond Rittenauer now looks like he's going to surge ahead here with that push from that 0-3 of Kevin Hash. So we'll wait to see at the line, but looks like this first lap may go to that 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. Sure enough, just by about a nose, able to get the lead that last time by. So Raymond Rittenauer is going to lead that first lap here, but again, you can see up front though, it's all 2x2 right now. So obviously still just got things going here, so we still got plenty of time. So I don't think we'll see too much craziness with people trying to go possibly 3 wide and make aggressive moves here. I think you're definitely going to see 2 strategies with some of these guys. Some going to just try to control the race here and try to get towards the front. They see other guys that try to maybe just kind of ride for a little while and see if they can kind of keep their cars clean and make the charge when it counts at the very end. So we'll see how all these strategies unfold. To say still again, we've got coming around here 73 laps to go of the scheduled 75 laps. That time around, looks like Jack Walls is actually going to lead that lap. Say Matt Quick was able to get to the bottom in front of Raymond. However, even with doing so, say that 83 gets a really good push there from that 17 of Chad Wilkes. That's going to move. He was able to take the lead at the start-finish line, but you can see that bottom line is starting to form again here and getting that 89 here, a good push down the backstretch. Someone thinking about trying to make this top side happen. Looks like it's going to be that one of Gabe Butler. We talked about if he was going to cruise or not. I'll say, however, it doesn't look like he's got any help right now, so I don't think this plan is going to work for that one car here. I think he's going to unfortunately shuffle back to the back of the field unless he can find a gap to squeeze in. Just is able to there right in front of that 131 and Craig Forsyth. So I say that attempt hasn't worked out yet, but again, I say, well, at some point these guys are going to want to start moving a little bit further forward. Because I think some of these drivers are going to feel like they're kind of stalled out here when they get 2x2, and then just that top line maybe isn't able to get around the bottom line. So we'll see if that strategy starts coming into play or not on this one. And as I said, you see the 17 of Chad Wilkes pop out there. May have actually been getting hot. I'll say again, he was pushing for a long time. Yeah, you can see he's dropping back here. I think he actually got that car a little bit hot. So he's going to pull out of the way here, get the clean air to that grill, and try to cool things off there in that 17 car, and then make another charge here once he's able to get those temperatures back down there. And so you can also see he's sporting the Area 51 Racing League. As you got kind of the counter schemes here. You got the 17 in the white and green, or white with green stripes, and then a little bit further behind him, I believe that was the 39. Yep, of Mitchell Wilkes. He's got the green with white stripes. And so those are 2 cars that that'll be part of that season 5 for the paid series race. So say Area 51's nice enough to sponsor those guys for the upcoming season. So that's gonna be cool to see those guys dice it out there. Again, you can see also Regal Cinemas sponsoring as well. So again, really cool on the part of this league to get everybody a part of this. Up front, you see Jack Walls got to the bottom, so now it's going to be Erik Laurie there on the top side. He's got a big push here from Charles Johnson in that 28. Right behind him, you've got Robert Richards as well, so these guys are trying to make a charge. You can see there a big push from Charles, trying to push that 071 Erik Laurie to the lead. It's like he hasn't been able to quite clear him yet, and see here comes that top side. Looks like people are thinking about making the move now, as you see Duke Conrad on the top there. I think it was 78 car Donald Stewart. Looks like he was thinking about it, decided not to. However, that 17 car, he's going to jump on board here. So we're going to start going 3 wide here at Talladega. As you see that line starting to form up a little bit. I see the 44 and the 88 joining in as well. That's Dwight Plush and Michael Spell. So see how these guys are able to make this top line work. Because again, you can get some pretty good momentum here. So you're going to see, as we run on the blimp view here, you can see just that top line starting to form. So you see them moving slowly but surely a little bit further forward here. You see they got to Matt Quick there, or they're catching, I should say, up to Matt Quick here. So they just got around Gabe Butler. So we'll jump back over to the TV cameras here. See, they've just about got to this framework, so we're about to go 3x3 for the lead here in just a little bit. Say Dude Conrad leading that top row. He's got a big push right now from that 17 of Chad Wilkes. So he cooled off the car for just a little bit, and he decided to make another charge here. So right now you got a three-way battle for the lead with the 071 of Erik Laurie, Charles Johnson, and Dude Conrad here. Mentioned a little earlier about the differences of Talladega and Daytona. You can definitely get away with 3 wide a lot easier at Talladega than you can at Daytona. That's exactly what we're seeing here. I feel like at Daytona you'd probably see a little bit more 2 wide action. You see Charles Johnson just barely squeeze in front of the 071 of Erik Laurie to grab the lead there on the bottom line. So now you're going to see that middle line now is being led by Robert Richards, and he's got Gabe Butler right behind him. See that 8 of Dude Conrad. He's going to drop to the middle line here and actually start leading that line, which is now going to put that 17 of Chad Wilkes. Now on the top side, he's got Dwight Plush right behind him. So, which is probably really good news for that 17 car, because he was starting to get pretty hot, I'm sure, pushing that 8 as long as he did. So he's going to be able to get some clean air back to that car. Looks like he's going to actually stay on the top. You see Dwight Plush there jump to the bottom. He's going to get underneath him there in that 44 car. So that's going to move Dwight up a position. So you can see 17 able to fall in line there, though. He's going to move up to about the 8th position or so at the moment. So it wasn't a long run on the 3 wide there, but it was enough to push some of those guys who are a little further back in the field into the mix here. I say that's what you're going to see at Talladega. Again, I feel like at Daytona you can do 3 wide, but it's a lot trickier than here at Daytona, or Daytona's a little trickier than at Talladega. So we'll have to kind of see if that's going to come into play again here. And again, next week we'll be at Daytona, so we'll see what those guys want to do for strategy on that one. I say obviously the 2 that we're going to have to also still be keeping an eye on is that 87 Raymond Rittenauer. He's right there in, I believe, the 4th or 5th car in line on the bottom. However, a little bit ahead of him is his championship competitor / teammate Gabe Butler in that 1 car. So I say right now, again, a long ways to go, but that one's going to, as things run here, he would gain a few points on him, but those 2 are extremely talented at hitting their marks for green flag pit stops, so that's really where they usually make their damage done. So we'll see if they're able to do the same here in this race, which I said we've gone 11 laps of the scheduled 75, got 65 to go. Probably about 10 to 15 more laps until pit stops, depending on, again, how much fuel savings some of these guys are doing. Again, I believe lap 25, 26 is going to be the critical mark to get to make sure you can make it on a total of 2 stops should we go green. But again, I say you can see a little bit more dicing around here. You see that 17 Chad Wilkes thinking about that top side, falls back in line here. And so you saw there Mitchell Wilkes there in the 39. He's kind of moved up to the top, but he doesn't have any help, so he's going to have to drop back in line here. See right there that 8 of Dude Conrad giving that 1 everything he can handle here on the straightaway, able to give him the push there to the lead. They're both going to actually drop down and clear that 28 of Charles Johnson. It's going to move that 1 of Gabe Butler to the lead, so he's going to get a lap led this time around. I say now you're going to see that top side now with Robert Richards on the top group being pushed by that 17 of Chad Wilkes. So that's going to be the top line. See what these guys are able to do. Michael Spell there in the 88's part of that group, as well as is the 10 of Corey Lane. And then for the drivers who I would be doing the same thing as them, I'll say, of course, different strategies. I'll say I'd be doing the same thing right here as Jeremy Funk here in this 32 car. It's a really nice paint scheme, I might add on that machine there. But yeah, I'd be pretty much right here, just right at the back of the draft, enough for you to you're not going to lose the draft, but you'll still be able to kind of be able to react and stay away should anything happen in front of you. And saying hopefully not need to use one of those faster pairs should an incident occur. So So you're definitely not trying to ignore those guys. I'd say just a lot of action happening up front. I'd say that's kind of the strategy though that I'd be taking this position. I say you can definitely save a lot of fuel. See Kevin Hash in there as well. He had qualified third. He's falling back here. I think he's kind of doing the same thing, just kind of cruising at the moment. So I say again, I think the pit stops are going to be the make or break on this race to see how everything cycles through, if people are able to hit their marks well or not. However, back up front, these guys still are going at it here. I say again, that one car has been getting really good pushes from the 8 of Duke Conrad. So that bottom line's actually been able to maintain that pretty well compared to the top line, which usually it's been the top that's had the momentum to make these passes. But so far this time around, it's been a little bit tougher sailing for that outside line. You see them both get a little bit wiggly there in turns 1 and 2. Again, it's really tough. You got to make sure you're right on that bumper. You got to be square on if you're going to try to make that push. Because if you start moving around a little bit when you make that push, it just really will throw that car around. So it's a really kind of a risk versus reward here, if you will, at Talladega and in plate racing in general. Ooh, you see close there between the 12 and the 1 there through the tri-oval. So they're able to keep it off each other. And say one thing I haven't mentioned is I'll try to actually see if we can show it if it is really visible or not. But that inside line on the tri-oval here at Talladega, it is bumpy. So that's actually, to me, that's probably the hardest part of the track to drive. Is you have to get through those bumps and not let it break you loose. You don't want to get to the apron or touch the apron either, because that'll definitely get you around there. I'm saying the other part that's a little bit tricky as well is I believe right now we're pretty much where Charles Johnson is in this 28, so we'll hop on board with that car. I believe this is one of the hardest places to be, where you're really tucked up right behind somebody on that inside line, because sometimes you can't really see where that yellow line is. You see as they go through here, you can actually see the car. I don't know if you can see there the 8 and the 28, you can see them kind of bouncing there through the bumps. That's really where the difficulty is. And then the same thing here entering these turns is to try to, you obviously can't wash up into the car and you're outside, but you can't hit that yellow line either. So, and there's times where you can't even see the yellow line when you're where the 28 car is. So I feel like that's first, second, third car on the, or sorry, second, third, fourth car on the bottom line. To me, that's always just kind of the sketchiest place to be, just because you have to make sure you hit your marks well, and yeah, I feel like you kind of lose some of your normal spotting points that you would use for the track, even though it might be a plate race. You still gotta kind of have these little landmarks, if you will, for what you need to look for. However, again, up front though, that 8 car is doing a really good job here pushing that one, so he's still able to hold, keep Gabe there in the lead, just barely at the line. Again, oh, you see another little wiggler from the 8 though, that's gonna. And you saw the 17 react to us. They're able to get away with it again here. But those are those things that say when you're so tight on those other guys, it really throws things off a little bit. So I just noticed there that the 35 of Art Peck looks like he made a pit stop. He's showing as 1 lap down at the moment. So not sure if something happened there, unfortunately, to him or not. I'm saying it looks like the field's spread out just a little bit as well. You can see kind of a 2-pack deal. So I think there was a bit of a situation there that I must have missed. Oh, as you see right there, the 32 of Jeremy Funk catches the apron, able to hang on to it, but you can see these guys are starting to have to kind of get around him, try to avoid anything on that one. So I'm saying also you see Raymond Rittenauer's in there as well, so that's definitely not what he's wanting to see on that. So I'll go back real quick to see if I can take a look to see what happened here. I don't want to miss anything up front, so we'll do a quick look real fast. Oh yeah, I see a lot of damage there to that 35 car here. Oh, you see he got loose there, just catches the wall. I believe that's off of turn 4. I think that's what spread that field out there, so we'll jump back live here. Looks like the last time around Robert Richards was able to lead that lap. So I'll give a lap lead to that number 12 car. We're coming around here to start lap number 20, so we're just at about 55 to go. Next time around we'll be at 55 laps remaining. So right now, let's say we're going to have to see some teamwork as well between some of these guys. With that 0-3 of Kevin Hash, he's going to have to work with Raymond Rittenauer to see if they can charge back up into that draft, which it looks like they'll definitely catch up to that 89 of Matt Quick. That should get him back into the mix of things here. And I say then that next group right behind them with Jeremy Funk and Ted Decker, they're going to need to try the same thing. They're going to need to try to work together here and try to push up to that group. That way they do not lose that draft. But right now I feel like they might be just a little bit too far apart. And saying if you go 2 by 2 like that, that's not going to work, unfortunately, for them. They're going to probably lose the draft with. So you got to pretty much be tandeming at this point to try to regain the drafted leaders. Coming through turn 1 and 2 again. Oh, you see right there the 12 and the 17 really close together there. You see that 12 maybe got a little higher than he needed to. They're able to keep it clean though here. Say we're on lap 21. We have 55 laps to go, so we're going to see that pit window open very shortly, and that's going to be the next trick too. Is some of these guys that are in that top groove, they're going to want to get to the bottom. You can see right there. I believe that 88 of Michael Stell, I think he cut the 12 of Robert Richards a break there, let him get to the bottom again to try to start getting these pit stops ready to go. So I think that's going to be the next thing to keep an eye on. Again, I think drivers are going to try to go as far as they can before they pit. Obviously, the goal is going to be able to make this a 2-stop race. So we'll see. I say the one car of Gabe Butler, he's led a lot of laps here, so he's going to have probably a little less fuel than some of those around him. But right now, again, you see that top line's got a handful of cars that are about 5 on the top. So you see the 17, the 10. I'm trying to see what the other numbers there were. I believe it was the 39 of Mitchell Wilks. And then the 66. Yeah, 66 of Mike Morrison. And the 64, I'm sorry, not 46, 64 of John Mullins. Those guys are all running the top line at the moment. I have a feeling, though, if they see an opening to get to that bottom lane, they're going to take it as soon as they can. So we'll have to kind of wait and see how the strategy unfolds here. I'd say we're going to come around here. We're on lap 23. This will be lap 23 of 75. So, again, I believe we're going to see pit stops here in the next lap or two. Try and keep an eye on the intervals here. So just notice one of the drivers looks like he fell off the back a little bit. No, it looks like they're back in the mix there. And it looks like 79. Looks like Ted Decker Jr. is able to get to the back of the draft. Unfortunately, it looks like Jeremy Funk was not able to grab onto it though. So I'll say, well, but again, I'll say pit stops are coming soon. So if he can just hang on for another lap or two, he's gonna have to be real aggressive with his pit stop, and that'll give him a chance to get back up to the front though. How that top line's starting to form here, and it's working well. You can see that 17 and the 10 here lined up together, trying to see if they can push that 17 of Chad Wilkes to the lead. I think at the line he may have just got it there. Looks like he barely got that lap led there in the 17 car. And I'm sure, again, I think what he's looking for here is to see if he can figure out a way to get to that bottom to get some pit stops in. Because I think this is where we're going to have to be really careful, is some of these guys are not going to be able to get to the bottom to get their pit stops, and they're going to probably be on fumes in this next lap or two. So we'll kind of have to wait and see on that one. And this is kind of one of those situations. This is definitely where you can see trouble happen, though. So keep an eye and see if anybody ducks off this time. This would be starting lap 24. I'm saying here they come. They say you see Gabe Butler is one of the ones in, Dude Conrad, Robert Richards as well. So you see a handful as well. Looks like Erik Laurie, Dwight Plush, Donald Stewart, Ted Decker Jr. They're all in the pits right now. Looks like Jeremy Funk, I believe, is in as well. So that's going to be our first group of drivers to hit the pits there. So that's going to put the lead now into the hands of Chad Wilkes. And I'll say that's now, again, you're going to see everybody start trying to duck now to get to the pits for the next group, which is, I'm pretty sure this time around, you're going to see everybody come in here, unless someone was able to really save here. We'll see what the 66 and the 64 on the top line do, but I believe right here, same thing. I think we're going to see a lot of drivers right now hit the pits this time around. And sure enough, here they all come. I say they're got the, oh, you see right there, I think it was Mitchell Wilkes got into the wall there in that 39. You see more trouble as well there. So I couldn't quite catch what car number that was also involved. So it looks like, I'm trying to jump around a little bit to try to get a look, but yeah, unfortunately that 39 got involved in there on the pit entry. You see the 88 there, looks like he may have missed his pit stall a little bit there, so that's not going to help him either. So let's say, so now it's going to be all about the pit stops. And again, we talked about how good some of these guys are on the pits. It may have actually been a disadvantage because Gabe Butler in that one, he had a really good pit stop here. But he's been all by himself for about a lap or so. You can see the 12 and the 8 here working on catching up to him right now. Looks like these guys should be able to get out in front of our leaders. So here comes the 89. He's the first one out of that lead pack here. So we'll see how they're able to sort through. But you're going to see that one car right now is that he's going to start making a charge here on that top side. So we'll look from the back of the leader right now to that 89 car. And you see the big draft that the 17 car gets, as well as the 1 and the 28. So it just shows how much speed these guys can gain with the draft. So right now these guys are all over the place, trying to dance around to get where they need to be. Looks like it's going to cycle through with that. As I see the 66 there, I think he may have ran out of fuel here. Yeah, Mike Morrison, I believe he ran it dry. Unfortunately, he's going to try to see if he can limp it back to the pits. Not sure if he's going to be able to, though. So it's going to now put the one of Gabe Butler in the lead. 20 to Charles Johnson right behind him. And so you see right there one of the cars exiting the pits. I believe that was the 64 of John Mullins. So unfortunately, I say they just tried to stretch it just a little bit too far. I'm saying that it's going to come back to bite them there. However, I say we haven't talked about him so far today, but Maxwell Caldwell on 94, he's starting to give that 17 here a big push on that top side. So that's going to put them in the battle for the lead here. We'll see if anyone wants to join them on the top groove. I see he's running that number 94, the Roy Wheeler Designs Chevrolet. As they come through turns 3 and 4, so you got the top two right there working together. You see Dude Conrad, he looks like he's going to jump to the top side as well and join this group. So I think we're going to see a bunch of 2x2 racing again once we get going, once everybody gets kind of grouped back up together here. Bud Steele, though, he's in that 6 car. He's just at kind of the edge of the draft. He's going to have to push hard here and try to see if he can grab onto that 0-3, I believe that is, of Kevin Hash. It's going to be critical for his race to be able to do the same thing, because otherwise he's going to be stuck on his own, which unfortunately behind him, John Mullins is on his own right now. He's got some cars behind him, but they're about 5 seconds back, which include the 131 of Craig Forsyth, 88 Michael Spell, 79 of Ted Decker Jr., and actually it's just those 3. Up front, see the 17 Chad Wilkes was able to clear the 1 there. That's going to put the 17 in the lead. That's going to now have Maxwell Caldwell on the top group. Now he's going to lead that top side. He's got a lot of help from that number 8 of Dude Conrad. You also see there Dwight Plush is in the mix there, as well as is the 78 of Donald Stewart. So right now, say these guys are still, say we just made that first pit stop. Everybody's done a pretty good job grouping together here. We've still got the top 15 all together through the pit cycle, which is a pretty good job by those guys. Unfortunately, looks like we may have lost 2 drivers from that first pit cycle. Looks like Jeremy Funk and Mike Morrison have both retired from the race. Unfortunately for those guys, let's say it did not go well. So obviously the 66 ran out of fuel there. It definitely pretty much ruined his chance of a good race here. But we still have 20 cars on the lead lap. Right now they're going to be coming around that 35 of Art Peck. Again, he had to pit a little early when he had that contact. So you can see he's going to run that up by the wall here, stay out of the way. But I say once this top group clears him, I say if he can try to get to that middle line here and grab onto their draft, he'll still be able to be in this lead group here. And I say as long as he's a first car lap down, he can still be in the mix. I say he's just got to hope for time of caution, and then he'll be able to go after it. You see now leading the top group here is that 83 of Jack Walls. So it looks like that 17 went ahead and backed out of it a little bit. Actually, no, I'm sorry. No, 17's down on the bottom line. I'm looking at too many things at once here. So anyway, yeah, so you got Jack Walls now trying to lead this top group around. So you see Dude Conrad trying to see if he can now give him a push. Looks like the 8 car has been a really solid pusher all day. So I have a feeling if you're one of these cars, if you see that 8 behind you, you're going to feel pretty good. As I say that, though, you see that 1 just able to clear the 83. He's going to jump straight to the top, pick up that 83 of Jack Walls, and so they're going to try to draft around, see if they can get around that 17 of Chad Wilkes and get him back in front here. So, I mean, I feel like at this point, you saw that 1, he pitted a lap earlier than the rest of the field. Well, not the rest of the field, but he pitted a lap earlier than a lot of the guys in that second group that pitted. So I mean, he must still be feeling good about his fuel numbers though, because otherwise I feel like he'd be kind of riding in the back here and trying to save fuel. But right now he's still going at it full tilt. So I think that one car might be feeling pretty good about that fuel strategy. Again, one thing that we have not taken into account for the fuel strategy though is the potential of green, white, checkered finishes. So I believe if we had that happen, especially towards the end of the race, none of these guys would be able to make it. They'd all have to top off for a splash of fuel to get to the end. But I say, again, for the scheduled 75 distance, though, I believe most of these guys are going to be right on the number or maybe just have to save a little bit of fuel. But right now, though, you see, though, Jack Wall's able to get in front of the one car as well. So now that's going to put him in the lead. And so now it's going to be Jude Conrad there with the push from that 78 of Donald Stewart, and then right behind him is the 10 of Corey Lane. Hop on board here with that 78 of Donald Stewart, so you can see, as I said, that you see that one there again. Gabe Butler not wanting to just go full cruise control. He's going to get that run. He's going to go to the top side. He's going to get a big push here from that 8 car. So we'll see. Oh, you see a wiggle there from the 78 as well. But you can see that one's able to clear the 83 here, but it looks like he's going to stay in the middle. I think he might be liking the push he was getting there from that 8 car. Or maybe it's hard to see obviously from this view, but he may not quite have been clear there. That's obviously good. Definitely need to trust your spotter on that one to make sure you clear yourself before you drop to the bottom there. But right now, again, you see that one though of Butler. He's going to try to make this top side happen here. See if he can get back around and take the lead again. Again, right now he is second in points, trying to chase down that 87 Raymond right now, who's still in this lead pack as well. He's right now just kind of cruising, I believe, in the 12th position. Probably saving a lot of fuel as well, which could definitely come into hand later on in the run. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that, see if maybe he's able to stretch it another lap. And again, we talked about how good some of these guys are at the green flag pit stop cycles, so I'll have to kind of wait and see how that unfolds as well this evening. You see right there, 17 made a big move there. Chad Wilkes got to the top side just as he was able to clear. So he's going to start getting that push from that one car of Gabe Butler. That's going to now move that 17 of Chad Wilkes to the lead. But you can see, I have a feeling Gabe is looking at maybe trying to see if he can make that top line happen, maybe go 3 wide. But it looks like he's going to stay in line here for the moment. So you're going to push here down the backstretch. You see Charles Johnson giving a really good push to Jack Walls there as well as they go through the backstretch right now. In ring turn 3 right now, 2x2. I say just maybe a little bit of a nose ahead for that 17 car, but at this point, I say it's really all about who's able to get the better push at the moment. And saying these guys are all looking really equal as things run right here. Looks like leaders are working on coming up on the 39 of Mitchell Wilkes. I say we saw him have that spin on the pit entry a little earlier. So he's going to probably go a lap down here, so they're just about to come up to him there. You could just see him there in the foreground there for a split second. I'm saying that's what we talked about for Art Peck. So that 35 car, he's still in this lead draft. So what he's going to need to do here is his competition right now in this race is going to be that 35 needs to try to stay in front of that 39 car. Should a yellow come out, and of course not be involved in the yellow either, to be able to get that free pass position, because otherwise, let's say, those are going to be the two right now fighting for that lucky dog spot. Again, up front, you see that 17 was able to clear, 83 got to the bottom, but now you see that 8 and the 1 hooked up there. Those two are working really well together. Say those two both able to clear, 17 drop to the bottom. So that's going to move again. Gabe up into the lead there with Dude Conrad right behind him. So now leading in the top group is going to be that 78 of Donald Stewart. He's got Corey Lane right behind him. He's got Erik Laurie as well on that top side. And it looks like Dwight Plush is the 4th car on that top row. So we saw these two, though, when they were on the bottom, they were hard to pass. So we're going to see if the 78 and the 10, see if they can hook up together and try to make a charge on it. But again, on that first run, though, those two are definitely ones to kind of be reckoned with, to try to see if they can get around them. So I say right now, these guys, again, still pretty much running 2x2. They're about halfway through the second fuel run. We got 38 to go this time around. This time around will be the halfway point. So say again, these guys have gone green so far this full run here. Again, it looks like we still have 15 cars in this lead pack. We've got 19 on the lead lap. Unfortunately, those that fell out of the lead draft include Michael Spell, Ted Decker Jr., Craig Forsyth, and John Mullins. They are about 20 seconds off the lead, so about just under half a lap. Basically, they start entering turn 3 and 4 as the leaders are in turn 1 and 2. So, but I say with the 4 of them, though, they're able to still make pretty decent time. They're a little slower, but I say it's definitely going to be enough to keep them in the lead lap for a while here. So, I'll have to keep an eye on them as well as the race progresses. Alright, just hit the halfway mark right there. So you can see the field's starting to spread out just a little bit. I think some guys are kind of trying to just bide their time right now, starting with that 12 of Robert Richards. Looks like he's kind of just hanging out right now. So I'll say we'll try to go through the lead group right here. So again, starting with our race leader there, the one of Gabe Butler. So he started in the 16th position, currently leading. Right behind him is the number 8 of Dude Conrad. So he started in the 19th position, is currently running in 2nd. Behind him is that 17 of Chad Wilkes, currently running in the 3rd position. So you can see those numbers are all inaccurate because again, here at the play racing, everything changes so quickly, so it can't keep up. And outside of him is that 78 of Donald Stewart we just mentioned. He's got the big push right now from that 10 of Corey Lane. Underneath him is the 83 of Jack Walls. Behind Jack is the number 28 of Charles Johnson. And running on the outside of Charles is that 071 there of Erik Laurie, which, so Erik, if you watch this broadcast later, feel free to take the 71. I know I've been running that one, but I'll say I'm doing this now, so I'd love to see you in that 2-digit number. If that's one you wanted, I'd be more than happy to have you running that car. You've been doing a great job in it. Let's say running with Erik there is that 12 of Robert Richards. You see Dwight Plush as well in that 44 car. And then the remainder of the lead lap here is that 89 of Matt Quick. Raymond Rittenauer in there as well in that 87 car. Behind Raymond is the 03 of Kevin Hash. So you got Maxwell Caldwell as well in the 94. And you have Bud Steele in the number 6 car. So those are the top 15 right now in that lead pack. Don't think I missed anybody in this right now. Those say those 2 that are still in the lead draft, but showing a lap down at the moment is the 35 of 35 of Art Peck and the 39 of Mitchell Wilkes. And right now Mitchell is showing as the R1 lap up in the draft here. He's running that top line at the moment. He's at kind of that second green car on the top side, whereas the 35 Art Peck's kind of just cruising right now on the bottom, which I think Art might be just trying to save as much fuel as possible because he's been running by himself for a lot longer. So I say Art's definitely not on the same strategy as these leaders, though, unfortunately. So while these guys are minding their P's and Q's, we'll try to do a quick run through that second group here. So we got in that group there, you have Ted Decker Jr. leading the way with that second pack here. Then you have the 131 of Craig Forsyth, the 88 of Michael Spell, and then you have the 64 of John Mullins. So again, these guys are about a half a lap or so behind the lead pack. Looks like that 35 Art Peck just peeled off here to make a pit stop. So right now that's going to be a perfect opportunity for that that 39 car Mitchell Wilkes to try to get that lap back for himself. So again, you see he's that top group car, that second green car in line there. And it's happening kind of like we mentioned. Say we talked about that 1 and the 8 there being really potent on the bottom side, and so far nobody's been able to challenge them. That 17 and 10 have tried to get to them. They've got to about the door, but that's about as far as they've been able to go. So right now, definitely an advantage there. Advantage there to the inside line there. Apologies for the background noise. My daughter's having too much fun with something. I'm not sure what. But yeah, so say we're going to come around here. We got 32 laps to go. Say we're going to have about 5 more laps or so until that second round of pit stops occur. So again, we're going to see who is able to get the fuel numbers that they want. Let's say the magic number now, of course, is going to be about lap 50 or so. You're going to want to get to 50 as I have a second co-announcer, a four-legged one, coming in the room wanting to talk to me. But I say again, right now though, those top two, top three really are doing a great job here, running single file. Oh, you see right there, Erik Lord tried to give that 78 of Donald Stewart there a bit of a push, and you see how just out of, like, it just really got the 78 just uncomfortable loose there. It's a really good job of him being able to hang on to it there, but definitely a moment there, and you can see it looks like strategy is beginning to happen here. You see a lot of these guys are making sure they can get to the bottom. So again, you saw everybody was running 2 by 2, but they're starting to really start forming here, get into that single file line. So they're coming up on that 36 car, or 35 car, sorry, of Art Peck. He just made his pit stop, so he's going to do the same thing here, try to grab onto the draft of our leaders. Right now he's showing 2 laps down again, but he'll be cycling back to 1 down once our leaders make their pit stops. So his goal right now is just to kind of draft these guys as long as possible, and then hopefully be able to synchronize back with them in the draft as well. That way he can kind of stay within touch of these guys. So I'll say right now, we're going to be coming around to 30 to go this time by. And again, right now it looks like still it looks like everybody's starting to kind of take it a little bit easy here, trying to see if they can get settled in here to try to get their pit stops ready. There is a strategy though to kind of start jockeying for position a little bit. Like I'll usually kind of do is I'll kind of ride towards the back there, save fuel. But once we're a few laps away from pit stops, those that might have to pit before me, that's actually when I try to get to that top line and really start to push to try to see if I can get kind of even with the leaders track position wise. That way when they peel off, I'll cycle through in the lead, and then I'll be able to pit that next time around. Just that way you're not kind of, maybe you're a second or so behind the lead pack when you make your pit stop. It actually will go a long ways. Saying with these guys, as good as they are at hitting their marks and hitting their pit stops, you really every second, half second, it really counts to be able to maximize. So that might be what we're seeing that 071 and the 10 doing here. They might be able to go another. I'm sure they can go at least one more lap of fuel than the 1 car of Gabe Butler. Again, he pitted earlier than the rest not than the rest, but he pitted a lap early. He was one of the first of the leaders that pitted. I'll say there's a few that are on the same strategy as him, but those that pitted a lap later and then have also been kind of cruising in the draft here, I feel like they'll be able to do exactly what I'm talking about. There's pit 1 lap later than the 1 and the 8, possibly the 17, and then be able to try to make an aggressive pit entry themselves with less traffic around them. Oh, you see right there, Erik Corey had a big moment there in turn 1, able to keep it straight. The 10 of Corey Lane able to do a really good job as well to stay off of him, let him gather it back up there. But these guys are definitely, I think this is definitely, you can feel, I think there's some tension starting to build up with these drivers. They know pit stops are just about to happen again. I say they're going to need to go a little bit further still though. Say we're at 28 to go, coming around here it's going to be 27 laps to go. So we'll kind of have to keep an eye with our lead pack and see when they start cycling in here. I feel like they need to try to go at least 2 more laps to be close to the number. Otherwise, some of these guys might have to duck in for a splash of fuel towards the end, so we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that as well. As I say that, we're at 27 laps to go, so in my mind, if they can go 2 more, that's going to be what we need to see happen. You see right there, Erik Lorry's going to jump to the top. He's going to let Corey Lane there go on the bottom side. He's going to have a little bit of help from that lapped car of Mitchell Wilkes, who obviously still has a lot of speed in that car, just unfortunately had that bit of a miscue in the pit stop cycle. But you can see with that little bit of a movement between those guys, they've started kind of moving out here. And I think we're seeing, as I saw the 87 car there, Raymond Rittenauer jump to the top here. So I think we might start seeing pit stops here this time by us. I think that's why he got to the top, and sure enough, here they come. So he's going to start with that 1 of Gabe Butler. See the 8 there of Jude Conran, he's coming in as well. See 78 there, 17, the 12, the 44, 79 there, all in the pits. So again, now the critical thing for them is to be able to hit their marks here, not make mistakes like left side tires and fuel for these leaders. So we'll say we'll jump over to our current lead pack now. Jack Wall's leading the way here. Looks like about split in half there. And I think that And I think Raymond was doing exactly what I was talking about there. When he knew they were pitting, he's going to jump to the top side and then be able to go. So these guys may not be able to make it on fuel. If they can, it's going to be really close. So if I'm these guys, you can see they're not even coming around this time. They're going to go one more time around. So this is going to be a bigger pit cycle than we had before, with everybody else is just a 1-lap difference. This is going to be a 2-lap difference now in field between these leaders. So we're going to have to see everything cycles through, which actually I see the 79 here stopped on track. Might be, oh yeah, you see he lost it there on the apron there. It looks like he's able to get going there. It's Ted Decker Jr. No caution though, so say they're going to keep it green, which could have made a big outcome in this race. So they're going to stay green here, so these pit cycles could still kind of shape how this race unfolds. So we'll see this time around if our leaders are going to come in. Looks like they are. Looks like everybody's in right here. So you see we're going to start with the 83 of Jack Walls. He's going to hit the pits there. You see big. So it looks like everybody's able to get away with it. So I had to make sure obviously nobody was speeding there. That's going to be a critical thing for them. So saying that we're going to see these guys all make their pit stops now. And that's going to, now this is going to be the key part of getting their up to speed laps. So we'll see the same thing. Make sure they hit their marks. Don't overshoot their pit stall. I think you'll see the same thing. Probably 2 tires and fuel only. I don't think we're going to see any 4-tire stops on this run. It's going to be 2 tires and fuel. Oh, actually, as I say that, 83 is going to take 4 tires and fuel. And it looks like he's going to actually be able to get out with them. So he's going to have a little bit fresher tires. Now, again, the critical thing is not to speed there on the pit exit. So now this is going to be the battle right here. We'll see what these guys are able to do as they come through the trial. But you can see I think they're going to easily come out with the lead here. But again, I feel like these guys may have pitted too soon. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it on fuel to the end should we go green. So as they say that here, they come through the backstretch. That's going to put that one of Gabe Butler in the lead. You can see able to get around that 03 of Kevin Hash and the 83 of Jack Wall. So that's going to put those 3 now back in the lead. And that's the critical thing about working together, making these pit stops happen. Just you can go that much quicker and go on that route. So looks like 64 of John Mullins. He's pitted he stayed at 1 lap later. He is in the pits as well right now. I'll say he was unfortunately kind of off cycle when he lost that lead draft there. So now this next group is going to have to do here. They're going to have to work hard to grab onto that draft, which it looks like actually they're already there pretty much. So let's say you can see how some of them are a bit spread out here. But I say, yeah, so I think right now Kevin Hash, Jack Walls, they're in good shape there. I think Raymond Rittenauer, he should be all right to be able to catch this group as well. I think he's also got, let's see, Matt Quick and Bud Steele in there with him. However, Maxwell Caldwell, he's going to kind of be out of this draft right now. However, he's got a big group coming behind him. So he's going to be able to tow on to these guys and see if he can kind of jump back in this group here. Although, actually, I'm looking at Eric Laurie. Might be on the wrong car here. Hold on. I'm trying to get everything cycled through here. I think Eric Laurie had just made his pit stop. So he's actually fallen way back in that 071 car. Something must have happened to him there. So we'll jump back up front. So I'll try to keep an eye on the lap times. As we talked about those guys being able to catch the leaders, they have done so already. So you can see right there, you've got Kevin Hash and Jack Walls trying to make this top side happen here. They're going to try to get up to the lead. I'm saying we have a little bit of lap traffic now to contend with as well, so they got to be real careful to make sure they give each other a lot of room to be able to get around here. So they're going to come around the 35, I believe that was, of Art Peck. It is. Looks like he's actually going to make a pit stop right now. And then they also have the 88 of Michael Spell. He's going to get to the top there, let them go on through. So again, nice gesture there by the 88 car. I say now his goal, of course, is going to try to be that first car 1 lap down. That's going to be his goal here as things run. So with all that cycled through, we now have a new leader. That is the 78 of Donald Stewart. Looks like he's going to jump to the top here, let these guys go on ahead. I think that might be a bit of a fuel saving strategy for that 78 car. So able to get a lap lead, but I think now he's going to have to try to cruise a little bit and try to make that gas tank feel a little better to be able to stretch it here all the way to the end. So that's going to now actually put the 83 of Jack Walls in the lead. He's got that 03 of Kevin Hash right behind him. And I said this is going to be where things get a little interesting. So we got a 2-lap difference right now between the first group that pitted and the second group that pitted. So we'll have to see how this all kind of changes the situation for the run here. We got 20 to go this time around. And so those drivers that just pitted, they've just done about 5 laps or so since that fuel run, which puts them right at that 25 lap mark. However, the other drivers pitted 7 laps ago, which is going to be about 27 laps on fuel, which might be a stretch to make it. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that for sure. But right now, I think this is going to be now where there's going to be, I think, just a lot of strategy. You can see right now all these guys just kind of cruising the bottom here, single file. So I think there might be just kind of, these guys are just going to kind of draft and take it easy here. I think the ones that might be a little more aggressive are going to be the ones that maybe need to try to stay on the lead lap or be the first car 1 lap down. So Michael Spell might be one. John Mullins as well, as you see they're coming up on him. So you can see right there Michael's trying to jump to this top side with those two, that Bud Steele there and the 78 here of Donald Stewart. Because again, his goal here, he needs to try to stay in front of that 64 car. As I say, that 78 there gets in the wall. Looks like he's able to keep it straight there and not bring out a yellow. So I'd say maybe just gotten a bad bump there, unfortunately for Donald there. I'm not sure exactly how that all happened. So we'll do a quick look here, see if we can see what happened there. Looks like, I'm not sure what happened there. It just looks like it kind of snapped on him. I'm not sure, maybe he was reacting to not get into Bud Steele there, but so he unfortunately is going to have a fair bit of damage to that 78 car. Of course, lost the draft as well, so definitely not what he was hoping for there as things run here. So now that second group of cars we've mentioned there, so you see there you have Charles Johnson, you have Corey Lane, Robert Richards, Maxwell Caldwell, and Dwight Plush. So you've got the 5 of them here. Keep an eye on their lap times. They're running just about the same lap times as the leaders here, so they're going to have to really work hard together here to try to see if they can bring that gap in. You can see the distance right there as they just went through turns 3 and 4. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on the speeds at the line for these 2 packs. I'll say right now, again, we've got Charles Johnson leading that second pack, and so they were about identical. They were both running 47.6s. So I'll have to kind of keep an eye on that and see if they're able to kind of bring that gap in, because if they can get a little closer to be able to grab that draft, they'll be able to catch him in no time. So that's going to be the critical goal for them. However, that last time by, Jack Walls ran a 47.5 to a 47.9 for Charles Johnson and company. So 4/10 slower that time around, unfortunately. Coming around here, we got 16 laps to go, so they're coming around that 35 of Art Peck. They're going to put him, I believe, 3 laps down. And right now, again, that battle for the Lucky Dog spot is going to be between that 88 of Michael Spell and that 64 of John Mullins. Right now, you can see they're right there together. Michael running that top line, and then John Mullins is the last car on the bottom line here. And right now, even though it's just the 2 of them, though, Bud and Michael have been doing a pretty good job here making this top side work. Bud's now up to the 3rd position here on the outside there of Chad Wilks. Bud did pit later than the other guys, so he's on that later pit strategy like Jack Walls and Kevin Hash. So I feel like he should be good on fuel. I don't think he really needs to save, except for a potential of the green-white checker, of course. So we'll kind of have to wait and see on that one. I say again, still keeping an eye on the lap times between our 2 lead groups here, and it looks like they're back to about the same lap times again, about a 47.7 to 47.7, 47.8. So just not enough right now for them to grab on. I think there's just too many cars in this group for them to be able to draft back up there. But again, right now though, that 80 to Michael Spell doing all he can as well to A, help himself stay that first car 1 lap down, and B, try to probably help that 6 of Bud Steele here try to get to the front. Of course, we have to mention again our championship competitors. They're running nose to tail. That one the 1 of Gabe Butler, and then you have the 87 right behind him, of course, now of Raymond Rittenauer. Again though, so the cars that pitted 2 laps before some of the other ones, so those that have to stretch it on fuel are going to be that 17 of Chad Wilkes, the 1 of Gabe Butler, and then you have, actually it's just those 2 of our lead pack now that I'm looking at it. So those 2 are going to be the ones that are going to have to really stretch their fuel here. Everybody else there pitted 2 laps later. So I feel like advantage is definitely going to be to them. I feel like 17 and 1 are going to not be able to play as much offense and just be a little bit more defensive to make sure they can get to the end and hope they can get to the end. As we're going to come across here for 13 laps to go. Again, right now Jack Wall's leading the way. So I think everybody's just kind of trying to bide their time before they really start making a big shot at here. I think probably it'll definitely be within 10 to go. I don't know if it'll be around like 5 or so to go. There's always, everybody has their different plans of when to make the move towards the front. But right now, so you see that 6 of Bud Steele's done a good job. Looks like he's actually going to... Okay, so I was trying to figure out why he was going to the top there. He was trying to pick up a little bit of draft there from that 131 of Craig Forsyth. Unfortunately, Craig's a few laps down there as well. But you can see though, it looks like that 6 in this 88 there, they lost their connection there a little bit, and that's dropped that 6 a spot or 2 further back here. So they're going to try to regroup and make another charge here if they want to try to get up towards that lead. Unfortunately, looks like that 78 of Donald Stewart has retired from the evening after his incident there that we saw. I say he had a really good run there. So he was actually leading there for a little bit as well, but after what happened there and getting kind of put down laps and stuff, he's went ahead and retired from this evening's race. But again, right now though, again you can see that 83 of Jack Walls, 03 of Kevin Hash. These 2 have been pretty much locked together here for this last whole run. But again, Bud Steele and Michael Spell, they're starting to make that topside work again. It's just the 2 of them. They haven't had any help with anybody else at the moment. I'll say we'll have to see if anybody wants to join them. I'll say the problem is I think they have a lot of teammates, if you will, running together. I believe the 83, the 03, the 1, the 87, the 89, I believe they are all working together either as teams or affiliates. So you'll probably see those guys. Again, we talked about, I mean, play racing, you definitely have to have teamwork, and the thing is these guys executed just spot on, so it's going to really take a lot to be able to beat those guys. And so I think the 6 and the 88 are going to need a little bit more help. I just don't know who they're going to be able to get the help from. They're coming around here, complete lap number 65. That's going to put us at the 10 to go at the line here. Again, so far gone caution free, not to try to jinx it, but these guys have done a really good job. Looks like actually a little bit something may have happened. Oh, as I said, I did jinx it there. Caution is out. Looks like involved the 12 here of Robert Richards. As I was saying that, I saw the caution flying there. So let me go back. Let's see what happened here to bring out our first yellow of the evening here. It looks like it started with that 12 of, with Robert Richards. Something happened there with the 28 of Charles Johnson as well. That's kind of where things all got started there. Let's go back and take another look. Oh, you can see right here the 10 and the 28. Looks like the 10 tries to give him a bit of a push there, just wasn't lined up. Or actually, no, as I say that, I know the 28 gets a little bit of that yellow line, gets that apron, and just gets that car immediately loose. Nothing there that the 10 could do. And then that's going to be, then you'll see where the stack up kind of starts here. And he tries to catch it, which puts him into the path of Robert Richards. I'll say, unfortunately, see, puts Robert up there. Wow, actually puts the 10 of Corey Lane up in the air as well. And then I say Robert just tries to hang on to it, but just the car just starts snapping around on him. I say you can see just trying to get things back together, but unfortunately just loops that car around here. So I say, well, it's not ideal because he was in the incident. At the same time, though, it's still going to work out okay for him because he's still in the lead pack here. He's going to be able to get tires, get probably a splash of fuel as well, get a fast repair done, I'm sure, also. And we're going to see if we're going to see our leaders in the pits or if they're going to stay out for track position. Looks like we got a couple of fakes there. See who is our first taker on pit road. I'm a little surprised some of the drivers that stayed out, that pitted earlier didn't pit there. So it looks like our first taker is going to be the 28 of Charles Johnson. So yeah, you got that pretty much the whole second group there. The 28, the 44, the 10, and the 12. And I believe the 88 of Michael Spell is going to get the lucky dog here. That's going to put the 88 car back on the lead lap. Again, we talked about how critical it was for him to stay in front of that 64 of John Mullen. So yeah, there you see it. He's going to go ahead and get waved around here and get a lap back here. So at this point, if there's any more yellows, if we get a green white caution or anything like that, to me, advantage is going to be to those that pitted there. So like Charles Johnson and Robert Richards, Corey Lane, Dwight Plush. I think that's going to be an advantage for these guys. I'm not sure how many green white checkers some of the leaders could be able to do though. So while we're under yellow, so we'll get things cycled through here, and we'll definitely get back here with the one to go. Alright, we're back on one to go. As you can see right now, again, there's a lot of drivers on the apron trying to save as much fuel as possible here to make it to the end. Again, I feel like the two that I'm the most concerned about is going to be that 17 and the 1 car. Again, they pitted 2 laps earlier than the lead pack there, which is pretty much from 8th on up right now. Maxwell Caldwell's the last driver that stayed out under this most recent yellow. However, again, the ones that I feel like could be in a good situation here are the 28 of Charles Johnson, the 12 of Robert Richards, the 44 of Dwight Plush, the 10 of Corey Lane, and of course I have to actually mention the 88 of Michael Spell as well. He just got his lap back. Unfortunately, he's going to restart at the tail end of the line, so he's going to have to try to get through the lap cars to be able to get there. However, if we have a green-white checker attempt, so we're going to restart here with 7 to go. But if we do wind up getting to the need of having green-white checkers, I'm kind of skeptical which of our leaders can actually make it extra laps. I think some of the leaders might be able to make 1 extra lap or 1 extra green-white checker, but I don't think any of these top 8 will be able to do all 3 should that come into play. So one of those little wrenches that could come into play here. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But it's definitely going to change how this race is going to come out. Let's say you saw a lot of people are just kind of right in there, a lot of riding and just saving fuel and just kind of getting ready for the kind of the fight to the finish. But say we're going to restart here with 7 to go, so it's going to be pretty much an all-out brawl here. I think again we're going to definitely start seeing some 3-wide racing, some aggressive tandem drafting, and I'd say it's going to be exciting here. So we'll have to see how this one's going to play out. But again, right now our leader is the 83 of Jack Walls, Kevin Hash there right behind him, Chad Wilkes in 4th, Bud Steele 5th, Chad Wilkes 3rd, Bud Steele 4th, Gabe Butler rounds out the top 5. Alright, so pace car's in, waiting for that green flag to fly, and these guys are going to get going here. They also need to maybe just in case. Be careful for tire spin. Looks like they're able to get through the gears pretty well there, though. Let's say 03 of Kevin Hash got a little bit of a better start. However, you see that 6 of Bud Steele was definitely not close enough to take advantage to maybe give him a push there to get to the front. However, as I say that, he's going to get to him here, as is the 17 to the 83. So we're going to see who's able to line up the best right now and kind of get that charge going. So right now, again, you can see in the other question, I was going to see if the 17 could get to the top side. He's not able to, though. So right now, I would say you're going to see that 83 leading the way, Jack Walls. Kevin Hash to his outside, Chad Wilkes pushing the 83 right now as they go through turns 3 and 4. They're going to come around here to 6 to go. Right now that bottom line's doing what it needs to do as they run, but as I say that, here comes that 17 of Chad Wilkes. He's going to jump to the top side, see if he can get a push here from the 03 of Kevin Hash. Looks like he's going to get the push he needs here. We'll see if he's able to clear that 83 or not. And right now it looks like he's just not quite there, but again, you can see how aggressive this drafting is getting here. They're going pushing through the turns as well, locking bumpers and going for it. Bud Steele drops to the bottom side right now. He's going to lock on here, but behind that 1 and the 83. But right now, again, these guys are, this is go time. So we'll have to wait and see. They're going to come around here for 5 laps to go at Talladega. Again, you see right now that 1 is pushing the 83 for all he's worth. You see the 03 and the 17 trying to work together. You see the 89 coming in there as well. Matt Quick, Raymond Rittenauer. They're trying to get back into this mix as well. You see some of those that pitted as well here. You see Charles Johnson there is on that inside line. But I think if you're going to need to make a move, as I say that, you see the 17 drop to the bottom there. Not sure if that was by choice or if he got a bit of a too big of a push and that kind of shoved him to the bottom. That's going to put Chad Wilkes here in the lead, so he's going to have the 87 now of Jack Walls behind him. But Kevin Hash now has a big push here behind from the 89 of Matt Quick, and it looks like that's going to be a pretty good combination here as well. As you can see, also Raymond Rittenauer is in that group as well. So again, those 2 cars on the third row, they're the 1 and the 89 or 87. I'm sorry. Those are the 2 championship leaders in the points as things run. So that's going to be also, we'll see if that's going to have an outcome in the points positions here. So you can see a few guys there trying to see if they can make 3 wide happen there. I think that was the 94 Maxwell Caldwell. Try to squeeze it 3 wide. Looks like he's got to the middle there. He got inside of that 10 of Corey Lane. 4 to go here. Say right now that 17 is still doing what he needs to do on the inside. He's getting the push he still needs from Jack Walls. Again, these guys, though, they can't start locking bumpers for too long yet because, again, these cars will overheat and pop the motor, so they're going to have to still be careful on that front as well. But right now, though, say Chad Wilkes still leading the way over Jack Walls and Kevin Hash. Still have Gabe Butler, Matt Quick right there as well. Bud Steele's right in the mix here as well. Say I'm surprised, honestly, that we haven't seen anybody jump to the top and try to force a 3-wide move yet. I think it's only a matter of time before we see as we come around to 3 to go. If I'm one of those guys further back, like Jude Conrad or somewhere around that group, I would try it at this point. I mean, I feel like otherwise you're just going to kind of cruise where you are. So we'll see if anybody's going to take the risk as they go here. But right now, 2 by 2, you see that 17 trying to protect where he can. But right now, again, he gets a really good push here on the backstretch from the 83 car. But right now, everybody seems like they're pretty content here to go 2 by 2 at the moment. And so you see that 03 had just a little bit of a lead. As I said, it looks like that 8 car dude Conrad might be. Nope, he drops back in line. I thought he maybe jumped into the top. Doesn't quite do it. As I said, I think we're going to have trouble here. I saw a contact there. Caution is out. I say it looked like a bit of a squeeze there for a 3 wide there. Looks like the 10 of Corey Lane. Actually, looks like he may have got through. Looks like 6 of Bud Steele was in this one. That's not the 6. That's the 6. Yeah, definitely some heavy damage to that 6 car. And this is going to bring up the green white checkered stuff that we talked about here. I say, unfortunately for Bud, I say he's going to need a pit for his damage repair anyway. But let's go back and see what happened here. I say it looked like just some pretty aggressive racing, trying to make 3 wides happen here. I'll say see if we can find a good angle on here. You see right now, you can see that 94, the 12, and the 6 right now all showing 3 wide as they go through turns 4. And you see, it looks like the 12 actually, so we can't really see it from there. from where I'm standing, it kind of looks like the 12 tried to get to the back of the 87 to stay in his draft, and it kind of just squeezed Maxwell there. I think it's just honestly just at this point it's Talladega with 3 to go. Everybody's trying to find the right line to be in, and so I think they're just trying to kind of squeeze where they needed to go there. So, but unfortunately, contact though between those 3, the 12, the 6, and the 94, and pretty good contact for the 12 and the 6 for sure. 94 as well. Oh, you see that's all the 8 of Dude Conrad. He gets into that one as well here. Who's Erik Laurie? He gets stuck in this as well. And so you see the hood and roof flaps working hard on that 6 car. Bud Steele trying to keep that car out of the air. But it looks like, oh, there's a 10 of Corey Lane trying to avoid it as well. You see Bud gets a big shot there at the very end as well. So that's going to bring us to some pit stops. Bud's in the pits trying to get some service done to that car. I'm saying this is what we talked about for the pit strategy. So now we've got, looks like the top 5 have all stayed out here. So some of these guys are going to be really close on fuel. So basically, Chad Wilks right now is on 26 laps on this run. Again, we've had some yellows, but I mean, that's only going to save you so much. You're still going to have to use a little bit of gas, even if you coast as far as you can. And then with him, though, you still have the 03 of Kevin Hash. He's kind of in that same boat as well. He's got 24 laps on fuel. Jack Walls is in here as well. And then you've got Matt Quick and Raymond Rittenauer. So the top 5 right now, they all stayed out. Those that went ahead and actually, I'm a little surprised here. Robert Richards, he stayed out with his damage here. So basically the ones that pitted under that last yellow that I was talking about, you've got Robert Richards, Charles Johnson, Dwight Plush, and Michael Spell. They can easily go on fuel as long as they put enough in the cars. However, some of those that did make pit stops here that weren't going to make it to the end, you see that one of Gabe Butler, he's in the pits from that incident there. And then of course you got the 10 of Corey Lane, Bud Steele, Maxwell Caldwell. They're still in the pits as well. So this is definitely going to shake things up a little bit. And the running order say that one's going to have his work cut out for him to get back to the front here. So I'm going to step away for just a little bit here, and we'll get things going again on the 1 to go. Alright, lights are off on the pace car. We got the 1 to go. And so like I was mentioning there, and actually one thing I didn't mention, it looks like the 39 of Mitchell Wilkes will get his lap back under this yellow, so that's going to now have 13 cars on the lead lap. Looks like unfortunately that 94 Maxwell Caldwell still in the pits. So I think right now we got 13 that can battle for the win here. Obviously anything can happen, but we're going to be going now. Scheduled distance was 75. Right now we're going to be going to 78. So that's 3 additional laps of fuel. And again, these leaders right now are all in the 27 to 25 range on fuel. So those top 5 are going to have to be probably a little bit nervous about how their fuel mileage looks here, what their tanks are looking like. So I'll have to keep that in mind as well. So I feel like the ones that are going to be in probably pretty good shape are from 6 on back. Robert Richards, of course, has some damage from that last incident. However, he decided to stay out here, so we'll have to see if that's going to play an outcome in his race. But I say the first that pitted under the previous yellow is that 28 of Charles Johnson, the 44 of Dwight Plush, and of course the second most recent wave around car of the 88 of Michael Spell. So these 3 drivers for sure are good on fuel. Of course, you got the 1 right there of Gabe Butler. He just put under that yellow, so they're kind of able to jump him for a position there. So he's going to have his work cut out for him here. But the question is going to be these top 5, can they stretch it on fuel? If we go, if we get to the white flag, can they even make it? And then if we get another yellow and have to do another green white checker or a second, I honestly, I'd say at this point there's no way they can make it. They would have to pit. So that could put the lead into the hands of somebody from 6th to 7th on back. But that's why we have these races, and that's why we run them to the end, because you never know how things are going to wind up here. So we're going to get things going. Say pace cars in, they're going through the tri-oval. So again, it's going to be Chad Wilkes on the inside, Kevin Hash on the outside. Wait for that green flag to fly. We're going to see, again, I have to be careful about tire spin, make sure they get through the gears cleanly. And then from there, you see a little bit of wiggles, but with some of those guys trying to get that power down, able to, you see Raymond Rittenauer, a big moment there, able to keep it straight though. But man, that was definitely a moment there for him as well. So we're going to see what these guys are able to do. You can see the field's really spread out here on this restart. I think some of that tire spin really shook things up. So I'd say we got 2 to go here. So if they can get to the white flag, they'll run it to the end. Should a caution come out though, we'll have one more attempt at a green white checker. So right now though, up front though, so you got that 17 of Chad Wilkes getting pushed by the 83 of Jack Walls. On the top side you have Kevin Hash here and the 89 of Matt Quick. And then I saw on the outside the picture there, here comes that 28 of Charles Johnson. He's getting a good run here, so they're trying to get through the tri-oval here, see if they can get to that 1 to go mark. That's going to be the critical part in this race, and they are able to get there. So this is the last lap at Talladega. You see that 0-3 gets a push. Matt Quick gets right to the bottom as quick as he can there as soon as he clears them. So now it's going to be up to Charles Johnson on this top side. I feel like it's going to be up to him to try to push this 89 car, Matt Quick, as hard as he can. You got Michael Spell there as well. So I think at this point, I say you lock bumpers, you don't let go. This is going to be for all the marbles. I don't think your motor is going to blow up at this point. So we're going to see what these guys are able to do as they come through turns 3 and 4. You can see that bottom line all locked together here. Charles is trying to give the 89 as big of a push as he can. You see Michael Spell is in there as well. And let's see if the 17 has enough fuel to make it to the end here. But right now as they come through the tri-oval, it's looking like that 0-3 of Kevin Hash is going to get the win as he gets hooked at the line. Oh my goodness. 0-3 goes flying through the air just as he crashes the finish line. I say he will get the win though. In the second position, looks like Chad Wilkes is able to grab that second spot. Matt Quick able to get third there in that 89 car. And then it looks like Jack Walls is going to wound up 4th. Charles Johnson 5th, and Raymond Rittenauer is in the 6th position. So let's go back there. Let's take a look again at that finish, because that was wild. I mean, these again, we're coming to the checkered here. I don't think there's anything intentional. I think the 17 just maybe was just trying to push him as hard as possible, maybe hooked him a little bit. So we'll come through here as they come through the tri-oval and see how where everybody was able to shake out for the finishing positions here. So you can see you can see they're all trying to spread out towards the back there to see if they can get to them. And you can see right here as they come through, you see the 17 there gets to the outside of the 03, and just right there at the very end there just hooks him in that left rear. I actually went too far there. Let me go back. So you can see right there. So yeah, so it looks like Matt Quick just able to eke out Jack Walls by about a fender or so. Obviously though that 0-3 Ken Hash is able to get the win. I questioned it, but Chad Wilkes was able to stretch that fuel and make it to the end. Probably pretty low on fuel, so we'll definitely ask him about that. But yeah, so congrats to Kevin on that win. Unfortunately won't be able to do any celebrations with that car with being as damaged as he is. So let's go ahead and try to grab our top 3 here. So we'll start with our 3rd place finisher, that number 89. So our number 89 of Matt Quick here. Let's see if he was able. Looks like he was able to sneak through the chaos there at the very end, though. So let's go ahead and pull him in here and have a word. Alright, so we're going to pull in our 3rd place finisher, that Grumpy Cat Matt Quick, able to grab the 3rd place finish here at Talladega. Let's say so. Obviously, a wild finish there. How are you feeling on the fuel situation? Because I mean, I thought you guys might be a little bit tight. I was really nervous for those that pitted even a little bit earlier than that. Like I know the one of Gabe Butler, he decided to pit there on that last yellow. But I mean, how close were you guys there at the end?
I had about 2 gallons left. I was real good. I mean, I tried to stay as long as I could the second run just for this point of green white checkers and all that stuff. So I was one of the last crews to pit there with Kevin and Ray and was it like Jack and there's another guy in there, but Bud I think it was that kind of got sideways going into pit road there. But I was real good. We are just playing the what we call the being a fuel whore game because we knew that if there was any green white checkers when we were in that last group of like 8 to 10 cars or whatever, so there's no point to race. So we just stayed behind everybody, riding at half throttle all the way through, not half, but 3/4 or so, and we just saved as much fuel as humanly possible.
So I mean, you did exactly what you needed to there because yeah, you guys were able to pit 2 laps later than I believe the 1 and the 17. And I had a feeling that would possibly come into play, and that's where I was worried about too, is because again you had the potential of 3. So I was like, man, if there's another one, I don't know if these guys are gonna be able to stretch it that far. Of course, you guys were able to be able to get that done though, make it on the one green white checker. But then the other thing though was the tire spin. I noticed on that last restart, especially, it looked like a lot of drivers had their hands full there.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it was a few years ago. I know a few years ago they made tire spin and you almost died on a restart sometimes, especially in the trucks. But this isn't that bad. It was a little awkward. I mean, I won't lie, but really, it's not that bad of a push. I mean, for us, we only took left sides the entire race, so it was just kind of a thing. So I don't know. The outside line is really hard to get together. Back in the day, before all this build or whatever, second line you knew if you're in the second line, more than likely you're going to win the race. And it's really hard to keep the second line together now. But really, all in all, it was a good day. Just try to play with fuel strategy. I had a chance to win there. I got Kevin up front, which was perfect because I never let off his nose on that restart or off his butt there. And I pushed him just ahead of that front line and told him to go down. So he went down, and I was hoping to get a little bit around the second lane, but there was really not a whole lot of help. So it is what it is. It was a good third place finish.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys definitely worked well together there, made that top line work, and not, like I say, just yeah, couldn't get anybody hooked up to you when you needed it there at the end, but still a really good run though, and yeah, just definitely want to give you any chance here for thanks and shots that I to give for that run tonight.
Well, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. All the guys that put Area 51 together, Charles and all them. It's always a good room most of the time. And I thank my buddies Kevin and Ray always for all the BS we have in our chat, just trying to keep each other entertained. All in all,
I'll say you guys had a great run tonight. I say again, I talked about that too. Obviously, definitely has to be a team thing here with this one to be able to pull off these wins and stuff. And I say you guys definitely not selfish and just yeah. I mean, you guys do it to perfection. So congrats to you and your team for working as well as you do together. And I say that's why you guys are able to be as successful as you are.
thank you. Appreciate it.
That's our third place finisher, that number 89 of Matt Quick. So we're going to start now, switch over to our 17 of Chad Wilks here. So jump over to him. Say, unfortunately, again, we said that at the very end there, a little bit of a hook there. Say probably just a bit of a draft gone wrong there, but again, really good run for Chad there, being able to pull off that second place finish. Just unfortunately, not quite able to pull off the win. Say you got that one, that 03 card just got nosed ahead of you there and able to clear you. But honestly, though, I was a big skeptic on the field numbers. I was like, I don't know if he's going to make it, even if it's just one green-white checker. I mean, were you on fumes, or I mean, how close were you?
Yeah. I think it was pretty close, but I was able to do a ton of fuel saving on the last that last run. We sort of just got in line. I got in line behind somebody. I think Jack was leading, and maybe Kevin was second, and I was saving fuel that whole time. So yeah, that if I hadn't have been saving fuel, I wouldn't have made it. But yeah, I mean, it was close at the end, but I think I ended up with my stuff's in the metric system, so I ended up with a liter left, which was enough, half a lap.
Well, so you played your numbers just right there. I say almost had the win there. I say those two up top. I say once some of these guys get hooked together, they're pretty tough to beat there. I say I know you had the 83 pushing you there at the end, and and then at the very end, of course, I say you just get maybe a bit of a too big of a push there, and that kind of looked like it may have got you off a little bit to say made the finish. I say didn't change the outcome of the finish, but definitely made it pretty exciting there with that 03 taking a bit of a ride.
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean to do that. I was trying to stay on him to make sure that he got across and make sure that I finished second, and really was trying to hopefully get Jack into third with that whole inside line because Jack had done a lot pushing me over the last little bit of the race, and so I wanted him to get third too, so I wasn't going to get out the throttle, and we sort of got unhooked. I got unhooked from Kevin, and I think I actually like let off the throttle, but I didn't stop. I think Jack was on me pretty good as he should have been to try to, I guess, probably make sure he finished third, which he didn't get. But yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't intend for that to happen. I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad it happened at the line instead of a little bit beforehand, because that could have got ugly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a ton of fun. I always talk about all the stuff that I'm so inexperienced at. Pretty inexperienced with this stuff, just trying to figure it out. I think I've technically won my first race of this season because I finished second on the track and somebody else got a penalty and I technically won. And then every race after that has been terrible. I think my best finish this did was like last week, fifth. And I think every race I'm getting a little bit better and learning. I'm still not great at pushing, I don't think, but I think I'm pretty good at leading and holding line and that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm learning, and it's fun being up in the mix. This is the first time where I was up in the mix the entire race. And with the green flag pit stops was a ton of fun too, making sure you nail those. And yeah, I mean, I had a blast, and I'm glad I was able to get second. Glad I could push Kevin to the win, and wish Jack could have got third.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I say it's kind of one of those two things. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's plate racing, but at the same time, it's more than some people realize. I say there's a lot to be able to do, and like you said, especially the green flag pit stops, which you guys had plenty of those tonight. I mean, you got to make sure you hit your marks spot on, and getting to the pits, and of course getting to your pit stall there as well. So, like I said, I mean, you're learning well, you're learning quickly. So I mean, you're doing everything you need to do there. So I say I have a feeling you'll be pretty much ready to roll here come season 5 in a few weeks.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and as the season's going on, racing in this series and in the IndyCar and the Sprint Cup regular oval series, I've gotten better and better as the years gone on at the simple execution stuff, not overrunning my pit box and a lot of that stuff, which I still make those mistakes some, but I've gotten better at not making those little things and getting on and off pit road and all that kind of stuff that all these other guys are really, really good at. And so yeah, I was really clean tonight, and that was good. And yes, there is a whole lot more to plate racing. I mean, it's easy to not wreck, but it's not easy to push and figure out what's happening and around you and making sure you hold your line and all that stuff. It's not super easy, but yeah, I mean, I've always felt like anything, for the most part, I pretty much have the speed. At anything, it's just executing all the simple stuff. Because some of these guys, I mean, they just never make a mistake, and so that's the level that I got to get to.
So you're definitely doing a good job of saying, again, congrats on that second place run tonight, and definitely want to give you a chance for any thanks and shots that you'd like to give for that result this evening.
Yeah, I always say thanks to Area 51, but got a really good reason to say thanks now. I'm actually repping the paint scheme, which is a really, really cool paint scheme. And I'm glad to be representing Area 51 for the rest of all throughout the season 5 Superspeedway series. I'll be in every race during season 5 and hopefully can, as I'm learning, make a run at the championship and win some more races. So big thanks to Charles and Area 51 and everybody for putting this on. Thanks to you for the broadcast. Thanks to all the rest of the drivers who, I mean, what did we go 70 something laps or something? I don't know, 66 laps without a caution and 2 green flag pit stops, and all that. It's really, really cool. It makes it fun when you're not just sort of trundling around a 2.5 mile racetrack under caution. So, thanks to Area 51. Thanks to you for broadcast. Thanks to all the other drivers for good, clean race. I had a blast. Probably the most fun I've ever had on a super speedway.
So yeah, to say, like you said, say look forward to definitely having more interviews with you. So you guys did an awesome job. This thing was definitely fun to be a part of. So yeah, look forward to having more chances to have chats with you. So congrats again on that second place run, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Thanks.
All right, so our second place finisher there, Chad Wilks. Let's say we got to pull up our unfortunately damaged race winner here. Let's say we'll go back and let's say kind of take a look through the ride that he had to take to get the win here at Talladega. Say that 0-3 of Kevin Hash. Say we'll pull him into the interview room. Say we're going through the last 100 feet, if you will, where say kind of one of those maybe a bit of a high and low there. It's like, hey, I got the win. Oh, I'm flying in the air.
Oh yeah. There at the end, I seen the finish line right about the time I got turned. I just yanked it as hard left as I could. I was like, I'm getting across that finish line one way or another.
Yeah, I was just talking to Chad, and he says definitely nothing intentional, just trying to make sure he could just trying to stay locked on with you, of course. But so yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that car survived there for any celebratory burnouts, but I'm guessing still feels good to get the win one way or the other.
Oh yeah, we tried it. It still has, the engine is still alive. It just won't actually run. So unfortunately, couldn't do anything else. But had teammate quick and everything pushed me back to the line here. But yeah, it was definitely a fun race. Glad everything kind of worked out there at the end. Top line kind of felt a little sluggish to a point, but it really worked there coming to the white flag. So that was the main thing. Managed to get me quick, managed to get me clear and got me to the bottom. Gotta give him big thanks, and Chad for pushing me that whole last lap.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, there was definitely some strategy involved in it. And then I mean, just some drivers just worked so well together. Like I know at one point, I think it was the one and I can't remember who it was that was working with Gabe, but like those two it was Gabe and Dude Conrad. Those two were really tough to fight with. But I was saying it seemed like when you and when Matt got hooked together, you guys were definitely really good as well, able to like I said, make that top line actually happen, which isn't. It definitely seemed like the bottom line was definitely stronger tonight, which I was a little surprised about. So, but yeah, you guys did a really good job there. And as I was definitely asking Chad about the fuel because he pitted 2 laps earlier than you guys. And saying I know once you guys pitted, you kind of charged to the front and kind of controlled the race yourself and Jack there. I'm guessing you guys felt pretty good on fuel even with a green-white checker or two.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt like it wasn't going to go to all 3, so I had a feeling we might get 1. I really thought it was just going to end in the green, so I didn't worry about that much. And then after Quick was talking to me about the fuel and everything, I decided I'd just stay behind Jack, try to save a little bit behind him, keep us out front, wait till about 3 or 4 to go there and start making moves. But yeah, I mean, I finished the race. Once I got pushed back to the line here, I still had 1.4 gallons. I'd hate to know how close he was, but yeah, all in all, definitely a fun race. I hated that we had the cautions there toward the end. We was really having a good long run there, having a blast with it, but it's just one of those things you kind of just plan on it happening.
Yeah, so you never know how it's going to turn out, but like I said, I mean, you guys had the 2 green flag stops to really kind of, I mean, it definitely split up the field a little bit. I think about the top 15 or so were able to stay pretty close together after the first run, and then it split a little bit more again afterwards. And saying was that something you guys also practiced together to make sure you kind of find your braking points and hit your pit stalls, not kind of overshoot it?
A few of us really do. I mean, I usually hit it once or twice, and if I like the percentage, I don't mess with it. I have my own point I really like braking at. It's a little bit early, but I can just roll in and then kind of just break it there right before the line, whereas everybody else is usually done down to pit speed before the line. Just my own little thing to make sure don't get ran over, don't hit anybody that might make a mistake. And that's the biggest thing, is just trying to get on and off clean, especially if you're pitting with other cars. But yeah, I mean, a couple of us practice it a lot. Some of us just go in and wing it, and it usually works. I know just about everybody in the Discord channel I was with, I'd hate to know how many hours we have on these tracks, but I guarantee you it would be a lot. So we've had plenty of practice coming on and off of pit road.
Well, I mean, the practice has been paying off. You guys have all been really stout working together, and now something I mentioned is just how good of teamwork the group of you all have there together. So, yeah, I say definitely congrats on that win. I say, yeah, saw Matt give you that push there to victory lane, or not victory lane, but to the start finish line there. So, well, I'll say you'll have to get another one, be able to survive the finish, and then be able to get some burnouts done then. But let's say before I let you go though, definitely want to give you an opportunity for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for that win this evening.
Oh yeah, big shout out to Chad and Quick there at the end, both of them helping. Also, I told him I would do it just because he was talking crap in the channel beforehand. I'm gonna dedicate this win to Mr. Dude Conrad. I mean, he took 6 tires on a pit stop. I mean, wasn't much he could do there, but yeah, gotta aggravate him a little bit. But him, sponsors, Awesome Collision, Custom Paint, just all the guys I race with, just a blast every Sunday night, and I enjoy every time I get to race with them.
Yeah, so congrats on the win. I say it's always fun to give your friends and teammates a hard time. I say that's what it's for. So, yeah, congrats again on the win. So I look forward to having future interviews with you, man. Congrats.
10-4. Thank you, and thank y'all for the broadcast, and Charles for the lead.
So I'm glad to be a part of it. So it's been a lot of fun. All right, so our race winner, that 0-3 of Kevin Hash, pulling off the win this evening at Talladega. Went for a little bit of a flight there to get to it, but I'm sure he's going to be happy with the result nonetheless. So let's go ahead and pull up our final results here for the evening. So we'll start with our top 10 here again. You can see, again, we obviously had a chat there with Kevin Hash, Chad Wilks, and Matt Quick. Jack Walls just couldn't quite get to that third position. He was, as you can see there, just about, actually, wow, only like 8 thousandths of a second off from getting that third position there. Charles Johnson brings it home in 5th with that earlier pit strategy that we mentioned that could pay off. I think did a really good job there for him. Raymond Rittenauer winds up in the 6th position. Michael Spell 7th. Corey Lane is 8th. Gabe Butler in 9th. And then Dwight Plush rounds out our top 10. We'll show our 11th through 20th here. So unfortunately, some of those drivers did not have the results they were looking for. Getting caught up in potential incidents, things like that towards the end there. One of those, of course, that Kevin just did mention, Dude Conrad definitely was a really strong pusher this evening. Saw him get some cars to the front. Him and that one worked really well together here. So definitely expect to see him in the mix in some of these future races as well in that number 8 car. And the remainder of the results there. So unfortunately, we saw Donald Stewart get caught up in that incident there while he was having a good run as well. So he's going to have to try to bounce back again next week. We'll have our season finale at Daytona. We'll have our season finale there at Daytona. And that's going to then lead things off. Have a little bit of a break, I believe, and then we'll jump right into season 5. Again, they run 4 nights. Area 51 Racing League, I should say, runs 4 nights a week. So, of course, Sunday nights with the Superspeedway Cup Series. Tuesday nights with the Indy cars. Wednesday night is going to be the 87 cars. And Thursday night will be the Cup Series. So, again, you can find Area 51 Racing League at on iRacing or on Facebook. Search for Area 51 Racing League or on their website at area51iracing.com. So again, congrats to Kevin Hash on the win here this evening at Talladega. I want to thank you all for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed the race. They put on a really good show this evening. So great job to all the drivers here and, of course, all the admins with the Area 51 Racing League. And, of course, definitely want to mention as well, again, happy Father's Day to all the dads here watching racing. Hope you guys all had a wonderful day. Hope you all have a wonderful evening as well. Look forward to catching you all again on Tuesday for the IndyCar Series. So until then, though, remember, try to stay home, wash your hands. I forgot the rest of the stuff I always said. But anyway, stay home, stay safe, wash your hands. I think that was all of them. But until then, hope you all have a wonderful day or wonderful evening and a good start to the week. And hopefully we'll enjoy the Talladega race tomorrow with the Cup Series. So until Tuesday, have a good evening and take care. Good night.